So hey guys, in this video we are starting a new concept which is nothing but operation research subject. In that we will be discussing the concept of payoff metrics. Okay, payoff metrics. In this we'll be discussing, in this what concept will be coming, we'll be discussing the game theory, and in that saddle point everything will be covered, even optical strategy, value of the game, everything will be discussed in the this video. If you see this video completely, everything, every all doubts will be clear. Now starting with the payoff metrics. Pay means what? Payment. Okay. Of whom? There will be two players, A and B. It is a matrix, so I hope you know what is matrix. So you can see here I have made one box, right? In this you can see v1 v2 etc. So how many rows and columns are there? 3 rows and 3 columns are there. Now suppose we'll understand what is payoff matrix. Suppose a player A is there, he is doing m activities, m number of activities, okay, and one more player is there, B player, he is doing n number of activities, and it is not necessary that both the activities should be same, both the number of activities. If he is doing 10 number of activities, it is not necessary that n should also do 10 activities. It is not necessary. He can do 9, he can do more than that, he can do less than that, anything is fine. Okay, it is just a number of activities, it is not necessary. Okay, don't think that here I have made square matrix like that, nothing like that. So it does not depend, it is not dependent on number of rows and columns, always remember. Now the payoff matrix is considered or constructed using what? Some assumptions, some conditions. So basically the row, for example, A player is sitting over here, so let me consider A is here, A player is here, and B player is here. Now A player has m number of activities starting from 1, 2, 3 and so on it will go. And B also will have n number of activities starting from 1, 2, 3 and so on it will go. Till n it will go, here till m it will go. That's why I said m activities and n activities. Now why, if we have to understand these things, why we can't go for direct problems, okay, solving problems. The thing is that if you understand this concept, then it will be easy, you can solve variety of problems, okay, different kind of problems. So listen carefully. The row which is there in this matrix, what is row? This is row, first row, second row, third row. So this horizontal thing is nothing but row. That is the activities which is available for player A. How many activities? First activity, second activity, third activity. So row is related to what? Player A, who is sitting over here. Okay, so is row is related to player A. Now where is column then? Column is related to what? The player B. Column, whatever the activities, column will be like this vertical thing. So 1, 2, 3, 4 till n it will go. Correct. So that is nothing but rows and columns. So rows is for player A, column is for player B, if they are sitting like this. Okay. Next. Now what will be cell entry? Cell entry basically means if I want to mark this part, so I can write it as v11. V I am just taking a variable, so we'll understand it is basically denoted for the strategy. Okay, optical strategy symbol. Now v11, this will be v12, this will be v13 and so on. Then it will go v whatever 1n. Correct, it will go v1n, and next will be v21, v22, v23 and so on till v2n. And here also v31, v32, v33 and so on v3n. Down part what it will be? Now what is the common thing here? Here it is nothing but vm1, right? It will go to vm1, then this one will go to vm2 and this will go to vm3. Correct, like that it will go on. Okay, just you have to understand the entries. Now the entries in the cell, the cell entries, that means whatever the entries are there, v11, v12, v13, what is the meaning of that? Can I denote it as vij? Vij, because if I write v11, I is 1 and j is 1, right? I is 1 and j is 1. Okay, so the general form is Vij. Now this cell entry Vij, general form Vij, is nothing but the payment. As I said, payoff matrix is nothing but related to the payment, right? Payment made by made by whom? Player B, player B to player A, when player A selects strategy I and player B selects strategy J. Now here we have to understand one concept, that cell entry this Vij is nothing but the payment made by player B to player A when player A selects strategy I, because it is 1 2, right? If I write play B1 2, this starting one is related to player A and the second one is related to player B. That's why I've said if it is Vij, first one is I, which is related to player A, and second one is player B, that is strategy J. Okay, I hope you understood this thing. The fundamental theorem of the basic theorem of game theory is nothing but what? The Max-min principle. Max-min principle. So what is the meaning of that? So fundamental theorem of game theory states that every player tries to maximize his or her gains and tries to minimize the losses. Okay, every player, all the players try to maximize his gains. Okay, that is the thing. Always remember this thing. This is the fundamental theorem. So Max-min principle. Then we are having saddle point, optical strategy, value of the game. Everything will be discussed. Okay. So first we'll start with this one problem. We'll take one problem. Then we'll understand how to find the saddle point. Now what is the saddle point, then optical strategy, everything will be discussed. Let us start with the problem. So we are taking the first question here. So very important, first step, always try to understand. Okay, now always remember, for finding the game theory problem based on payoff matrix, the first thing you have to find the saddle point. That is very important. Okay, so I'll tell you the steps, kindly understand. The first and very easy step we are having is basically to find out the select. We have to select the minimum. We have to select the minimum element. Minimum element. Okay, in each row, and maximum element in each column. Very important. Okay, so what is the thing, that select the minimum element in each row, maximum element in each column. Now what is row? How many rows are there? 3 rows are there. In that you have to select the minimum element, which is the minimum element in each row. Now if you see the first row, this is the first row, right? In this, what is the minimum element? Minimum element, you can see it is nothing but 2, right? It is 2. We have selected 2. That you have to write beside this 2. All done. Second row, here if you see the minimum element, row always related to minimum, so I'll write here row minimum. So I'll write row min. Okay, which is written over here. Second row, if you see 6, 5 and 7, which one is the minimum number? Least number, which is nothing but 5. So I have written 5 here. Third row, if you see -7, 4 and 0, so obviously it is negative number. -7, which will be the minimum, so I have written -7. Okay, in the first step, one more thing is that we have to find the maximum in each column. Maximum. Now we have to find the maximum in each column, so let us do that also. The column, as we know, so I'll just write it over here. So from each column you have to find maximum, so I'll write max, so it will be written like this. So first column, if you see 5 sorry 15, 6 and minus 7, obviously it is negative number. Oh sorry, so here don't get confused, column is related to max, column max, row minimum, remember. So here the maximum number we have to write, don't write and come minimum, write maximum number in column. Second column, here we have maximum number as 5, right? Third column, maximum number is nothing but what, 7, so write it over here. So we are done with the first step, finding row minimum value and column maximum value. Write it in this form, very important. Next step, second step, we are having, we have to now find max min values and min max values. Okay, this is the second step, very important step. Try to understand here what is max min values. Max min values means we have to find the maximum of minimum value. Okay, so here try to understand that, I'll write it over here. So we have to find max min values, that basically means maximum of minimum values. Now what is maximum of minimum values? So we have to find the maximum number of minimum values. That means minimum values is nothing but the row minimum, right? Minimum we have considered for row minimum, so we have to consider row minimum. In that, which one is the maximum value? That means here if I take consider row minimum, I am getting here how many values, 2, 5 and minus 7. In that I have to take the maximum number. In that I have to take the maximum number, which is equal to what, 5. Maximum number is nothing but 5, so I have to consider it as 5. The second thing, I hope you understood this part, the second point you have to find is the minimum max value, min max value. So what is min max value? It is the minimum of maximum value. So now what is maximum value? Maximum value, we know it is related to column, we found out it is column max, right? It is column max. So column max, it is nothing but 15, 5 and 7. In that we have to find minimum value, which is the minimum number. Minimum number we know it is 5, right? Minimum of this is nothing but the second step, very important step. Now we have come to the conclusion, you have to find the saddle point. Okay, now if the condition is, the condition, very important condition, if now the question arises, what happens if they are not equal? If I write if they are not equal, because in this case if they are equal, if you see max min values it is 5, min max value it is 5, therefore both are equal. If they are equal, then there exists a saddle point. If they are not equal, there won't be any saddle point. Then what we have to do, that we'll be discussing in the next video. So this is the questions related to games with saddle point. Without the saddle point, we have to use some formulas that we'll be discussing in next video. I hope you are not getting any doubts. The simple thing is that if they are equal, then there exists a saddle point. The condition is this one, very important condition. Okay, next, now we have got the saddle point. Saddle point, what it gives? Now saddle point we got 5. Now where is 5 sitting? If you observe here, this was the 5. In row minimum we found out the maximum value, and in column max we found out the minimum value, which is 5. Those two 5 when I extend, where it is intersecting, see here, when I extend, correct, and when I extend this thing, both are intersecting at this place, right? So that gives me the location. So saddle point gives the location, right? Cell location. So these are nothing but cells. So when I extend both the points 5 and 5, so then we are getting the intersected cell point, cell location, which is nothing but 5. Now what is 5? 5 is nothing but the value of k. 5 is nothing but the value of k. We'll understand two concepts here. Saddle point, we understood that it is the position or the cell location of such element in payoff matrix which is minimum in column max. That means we found out that column max, it should be the minimum value, right? Which was 5. Okay, and maximum in row minimum. Maximum in what? Row minimum. Okay, so maximum in row minimum is nothing but 5, and minimum in column maximum is nothing but 5. So that will give me the cell location as what? This thing. So how to write the cell location? So if you see here, it is written in Roman number 2, here it is written in the natural number, which is nothing but 2. So it is giving me 2 and 2, right? It is in this form, 2 and 2, that we'll be discussing. This is nothing but the cell location. Okay, fine. So next, optimal strategy, they'll ask you to find the optimal strategy for each player. So in a payoff matrix, if the saddle point is the cell r comma s, for example here, which was the cell? It was cell was 2, Roman number 2 comma 2, right? Always you have to write the this number first, player a number, then you have to write the second number, right? Player b number. So player a first, which is nothing but Roman number 2 comma 2, so that is nothing but the cell number. So if I take it as 2 comma 2, that is Roman number 2 comma 2, this is player a and this is player b, then R is the optimal strategy of player A. R is nothing but this guy, this is nothing but R, and this is nothing but S. So first one is the optimal strategy of player A, second one is the optimal strategy of player B. That means from saddle point you can find the optimal strategy of player A and optimal strategy of player B. Now what is the value of game? This VRS is the value of game. V means basically the cell, whatever the number they have allocated. They are not saying about position. Value of the game is whatever value is there. 5. 5 is nothing but the value of game. So let us write the answer for this, that the optimal strategy. So we got what? We got the cell location, right? So cell location we got it as 2 comma 2, right? And the numbers allocated was 5. This one we got. Now, and one more thing, avoid confusion that this is 5, this is 5, that's why I wrote here 5. Okay, no, I have written this one, we got it as 5, this one is 5, that means it is related to this 5 and this 5. Then I extended both, I am reaching at this place. That you remember. Don't remember this one, that this is 5, this is 5, that's why I wrote 5 here. No, value of the game is written based on the cell allocated number. Okay, not by seeing this number and this number. Okay, fine. So cell, I got location as this thing. So the saddle point we found out, saddle point is nothing but the position, which gives the position. What is the optimal strategy of player A? As I said, the first one, player A I wrote, it is 2. And for optimal strategy of player B, which is nothing but 2. And what else is there? Value of game. Value of game is nothing but the number allocated at a saddle point, which is nothing but 5. So it is equal to 5. All the things we have written. So first the thing is that you have to remember this condition. We'll discuss the problem based on where saddle point is not there, but you have to understand where saddle point is there, what you have to do. So this two steps if you understand, then it is done. Very simple steps. Understand, try to understand. Okay.